Can you use artificial intelligence as an acting coach? That is the big question. And that is what I put to the test the other day using ChatGPT to critique 2 takes of one scene that I did. I'm going to let you go through it as I did. My mind was kind of blown. I'm going to tell you that up front. But it does definitely have its pros and cons. First of all, it takes forever to upload the scenes. They don't always succeed. It can't always read the PDF that goes with it. So there's a lot of frustration on that side of it. I'm sure that will improve with time, but for now, that's still kind of a frustrating situation. ChatGPT is a machine. It is getting very good at recognizing human emotions and subtle facial expressions and voice modulations and things like that, which is great, but it doesn't always understand acting. Like that you're not always saying exactly what's going on. It understands subtext on a logical level, but I'm not sure that it has understood it on a physical level, obviously, because it's not a physical thing. So without much further ado, I'm going to let you watch it and make your own judgment on that. And by the way, if you would like to have some ChatGPT prompts that are specifically made for actors, I've created a bunch of prompts for actors to use, everything from helping you to understand your backstory to critiquing self-tapes, etc., etc. Lots of different interesting things. So if you want to download that, go ahead and grab your copy in the show notes below. On to ChatGPT. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, this kind of is blowing my mind. ChatGPT might just be a good drama coach. Hear me out here. This is insane. I uploaded 2 takes of an audition that I did recently, and the scene was of a woman who was extremely distraught, possibly partially inebriated or high on something, but she does this regularly, so it wouldn't have been overt. In any case, that was pretty much all the information I was given. I knew something had happened, but I didn't know what, and that she's interacting with her daughter. That was the extent of what I knew about this character and the scene. So this is the character breakdown for Dorothy. Based on the provided scene and breakdown, character, Dorothy, state, extremely distraught, possibly high or drunk. Emotional range, high intensity, erratic behavior, deep emotional turmoil. Scene analysis, Dorothy's emotional state. She's experiencing intense emotions, likely confused and erratic. Key points to portray: convey the sense of being overwhelmed, show physical and emotional instability, balance between the rawness of her distress and subtle cues of her inebriated or altered state. Critique of your self-tapes. Hold your horses. Take 1, strengths. Emotional intensity. You captured Dorothy's distress well, showcasing her raw emotions. Authenticity. The portrayal felt genuine, particularly in moments where your voice broke and you showed vulnerability. Areas for improvement. Physicality. Consider adding more physical cues that suggest her possible drunkenness or high state. Subtle sways or unsteady movements can enhance the believability. Pacing. There were moments when the pacing felt rushed, which kind of blew my mind. Allowing for slight pauses can give more depth and realism in her erratic state. Voice modulation. While the emotional intensity was there, varying the tone and volume slightly can add layers to her character, showing the fluctuating nature of her distress and intoxication. Which, given the amount of lines and all of that, this thing is right. I could have added more in afterwards, right? I wish I had done this right after I did my self-tape. I would have made the adjustments. Mom?
You stay away. This doesn't have anything to do with you. I'm not saying anything. my only sunshine. Please don't take the sunshine away. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. Please don't take my sunshine away.
Take 2. Strengths, controlled chaos. This take had a better balance between emotional intensity and control, making Dorothy's state more nuanced. Subtlety. There were nice touches of subtlety, especially in your facial expressions and the way your eyes conveyed confusion and pain. Areas for improvement. Consistency. Ensure that the physical portrayal of being high or drunk remains consistent throughout the take. Engagement. Engage more with the imaginary environment. Looking around or interacting with invisible objects can create a more immersive performance. Variation. Similar to the first take, introducing more vocal and physical variations will help maintain the audience's engagement and add depth to the character. Overall feedback. You did a commendable job capturing Dorothy's distraught state in both takes.
Mama? Mama?
You stay away. This doesn't have anything to do with you. I'm not saying anything. Go on now. You are my sunshine.
Mama? Mama?
You stay away. This doesn't have anything to do with you. And I'm not saying anything. Go on now. Get.
Here are some general tips to enhance your performance further. Physicality. Integrate more physical cues that indicate her possible drunkenness or high state. This can be as simple as unsteady movements, slight slurs in speech, or a wavering gaze. I could see how putting in a wavering gaze would have been interesting in this take. So, pacing. Allow yourself to breathe within the scene. Pausing can often convey more than continuous dialogue, especially when showing confusion or distress. So I felt like I really took my time with the scene, so it was very interesting to get that feedback. It would be interesting to try it again, and based on the feedback that I've gotten here. Engagement. Interact with imaginary environment. This not only grounds your performance, but also makes it more believable. I'm not sure I'm not sure how I feel about that one. I think the scene was so short and she was really interacting more with her daughter and with herself, but maybe I'm just being defensive against a machine. Final thoughts. Remember, Dorothy is in a state of turmoil, so embracing the chaos in a controlled manner will showcase your range as an actor. Balancing intensity with subtlety and maintaining consistency in your portrayal will make your performance stand out. Great job, and keep refining those aspects to bring Dorothy fully to life. So, and then I said, I'm confused about what you mean for the pacing. There were lots of pauses. I was getting totally defensive, about to get into a fight with ChatGPT. Okay, I thought I would, just for scientific sake, do this again and just see if the feedback was any different. I loaded it into a new chat, because if you load it into the same chat, you're going to be getting the same kinds of feedback that you got the first time. So a new chat will often give you a new take, no pun intended. This one was much shorter. So take 1, strengths, emotional depth. Your portrayal of Dorothy's distraught state was evident and well executed. The subtle nuances of your facial expressions conveyed her inner turmoil effectively. Physicality, the physical portrayal of someone possibly high or drunk was believable without being over the top. This is actually in direct contradiction to the other critique. I happen to agree with this one. Connection. Your connection to the daughter felt genuine and heartfelt. It was clear that she's the most important person to Dorothy. Areas for improvement. Pacing. Again, this ChatGPT seems to agree with the first one, that there were moments when my pacing felt slightly rushed. Allowing more pauses can enhance the impact of the emotions. So I'm super curious what you all think about this. I felt like I really took my time with it. So I would love to know how it feels when you watch it. Adding more variation to your vocal tone and volume could provide more depth to Dorothy's emotional state. The other one also said this as well. Eye contact. Ensure that your eye lines are consistent and make sense for the scene. This will help maintain the believability and continuity. So there's a critique here. I honestly don't think it's applicable, but there you go. Take 2, consistency, the strengths. Your performance was consistent throughout the take, maintaining the emotional state effectively. Intensity. The intensity of Dorothy's emotions came through stronger in this take, adding a powerful layer to the performance. Subtlety. The subtle moments, such as fleeting looks and minor gestures, added a lot to the character's depth. Areas for improvement. Clarity. There were moments when the emotional intensity affected the clarity of your speech. Ensuring that your dialogue remains clear will help in conveying the story better. Physicality. Yes, I'm fighting with myself not to argue right now. Physicality. While the physical portrayal was good, it can be fine-tuned to ensure it doesn't distract from the dialogue. Balance is key. I'm not sure what it's referring to here. I am going to ask it in just a sec. Transitions. Smooth out the transitions between different emotional beats to make the performance flow more naturally. Again, I don't know if I agree with this. So it's hard to know what is actually good advice and what is not such good advice, to be very honest. Because for me, I don't feel like I was doing so much physicality that it distracted from the dialogue. I wasn't fiddling with anything. I wasn't waving my hands around. I was very still. So I'm not sure what it's referring to at this point. The transitions, yeah, again, I mean, we humans, we can, turn on a dime with our emotions. So I'm not sure about that either. I don't know. Sometimes ChatGPT just makes suggestions to suggest. And so I'm not sure. I'm going to try and develop a prompt where I knock out the suggestions, where it's making suggestions just to say something. The general suggestions, contextualization, even without much backstory, you can create a mental scenario that informs Dorothy's actions just before the scene starts. Well, obviously I had this. I was crying before the scene started. This will give you a sense of continuity and realism. Feedback loop. If possible, get feedback from a trusted coach or peer. An external perspective can offer insights you might not have considered. Absolutely, a human being will give much better insight than a machine always. Review. Watch both takes critically, focusing on what felt authentic and what could be enhanced. Overall, both takes showcase your ability to delve into a complex character like Dorothy. Fine-tuning these elements will elevate your performance to the next level. Keep up the good work. Love that little enthusiastic, motivating touch at the end. That's nice. Okay, so I think I'm going to ask it here. Only focus on areas that you truly think need improvement. Do not give suggestions for improvement if my acting was based on let's see. Do not give suggestions for improvement. Oh, how can I phrase this? Only focus on areas that you truly think need improvement. The areas I want you to focus on are authenticity, emotional resonance, clarity in terms of how many characters I'm speaking with, moments where you are aware that there is subtext. So that would be a good area for improvement. Only focus on the areas you truly think need improvement. The areas I want you to focus on are authenticity, emotional resonance, clarity in terms of how many characters I'm speaking with, moments where you think, I was lacking subtext. Do not seek just to critique. Let's see if that helps anything. Oh, it's got quite a lot to say. Okay. So, take one. Authenticity, strength. Your portrayal of Dorothy felt authentic, especially in the moments where her love for her daughter came through. Improvement. There were brief moments where the authenticity wavered, particularly during the transitions between emotional states. Working on smoother transitions can maintain the authentic feel throughout. Emotional resonance. The emotional weight of the scene was palpable. The moments of quiet desperation were particularly strong. To enhance emotional resonance, consider adding a few more varied emotional beats. For instance, a fleeting moment of hope or tenderness before reverting to despair can add depth. Clarity in terms of characters. It was clear that you were speaking to your daughter and your focus on her was consistent. Improvement. Ensure that your eye lines and body orientation remain consistent when addressing your daughter. Any shift can make it confusing about whom you're addressing. Yeah, again, I think sometimes ChatGPT just gives you bullshit advice or feedback. I notice this with my writing a lot as well, where it's just like redundant. It's just giving feedback to give you feedback. And that's where I feel like it is, because something like, if it was confusing that I was speaking to more than one person or something like that, but we don't always face the person we're speaking to. We don't always look at the person we're speaking to. But it's not a human being, so I guess it wouldn't know that. Subtext, improvement. There were moments when the subtext could be stronger. For example, when expressing concern for your daughter, letting a hint of self-loathing or guilt peek through can add layers to the character. Consider what Dorothy is not saying explicitly and let that inform your delivery. Yeah, I felt that was pretty clear too, but okay. Take two, authenticity, strength. This take felt even more authentic than the first, especially in the way you embodied Dorothy's physical and emotional state. Improvement. Maintain the authenticity throughout by paying attention to minor details, such as consistent eye contact and physical mannerisms. Again, we don't, as human beings, always maintain eye contact, especially when we're upset. Emotional resonance, strength. The intensity of your emotions was powerful and gripping. Improvement, balance the emotional intensity with moments of quiet or reflection. This contrast can make the emotional highs feel more impactful. Clarity in terms of characters. Strength. The focus on the daughter was clear and consistent. Improvement. Similar to the first take, ensure that all interactions and eye lines are directed appropriately. This consistency helps clarify the scene's dynamics. Subtext. Improvement. In this take, some lines could benefit from deeper subtext. For example, when expressing love or concern for your daughter, subtly imply Dorothy's fear of losing her or the internal conflict she feels about her own state. This can be achieved through tone, pauses, or subtle Physical cues, summary of key points for improvement, transitions, work on making the transitions between different emotional states smoother to maintain authenticity, emotional beats, add varied emotional beats to enhance resonance and depth, eye lines and body orientation, maintain consistent eye contact and body orientation to clarify interactions with other characters, subtext, infuse more subtext into your lines by considering what Dorothy is feeling beneath the surface, use tones, pauses, and subtle gestures to convey this. Both takes are strong, and focusing on these key specific areas will help elevate your performance even further. Keep up the great work. Okay, so yeah, I think my feedback for ChatGPT, or for you, if you're going to use it, if you don't have a trained eye to help you with your self-tapes, then maybe using ChatGPT could be useful. And maybe it can just be really confusing. So I think you also have to learn to trust yourself in this situation and know when you've done, when you've done a good job, and know that the choices that you've made, whether to look away or not maintain eye contact or whatever it is that it's critiquing you on, know when those are choices, or try and be neutral. I'm saying that to myself, and take that with a grain of, take it as like, could I have maintained more eye contact? Could I have added more subtext? Are there areas truly for improvement, or have I done the best I can do? And that's all you can really do. So I think it's definitely interesting. ChatGPT AI is going to continue to improve. And I think that the more it begins to register our facial expressions as human beings and our vocal tonalities and recognize emotions in humans, the better it's going to get, especially subtle things like lies, like showing anger to protect someone from something. Those kind of things that I don't think it's quite there yet on. But it will be. It's definitely coming. So I think this is something to, especially when you have two takes to compare, if you're not sure which one is the stronger take, because I know a lot of times, for me at any rate, I'm not sure which one is the stronger take because I'm not seeing it clearly. I know what I was trying to convey in each take. And it's interesting that each time I have uploaded this to ChatGPT, it's always said that take two was the stronger take. And I actually didn't feel that way when I sent this self-tape in. I felt take one was, and that was why I labeled it as take one. So I think that that's very interesting and kind of, makes me rethink things. So I think it can be useful for helping you to determine, if anything, which take is the stronger take. So I hope that helps. Have fun, experiment with it. Maybe I will upload, I have 2 takes of a comedic scene that I did that got me booked on a Netflix series. So maybe I will upload those and see what it says about that. Yeah, just let's see what it says about that. So as you can see here, I uploaded my scenes, I uploaded the script, I uploaded everything. It was uploaded properly, but ChatGPT wasn't able to view the files for whatever reason. But that didn't stop it from giving me a critique on my performance. So take that with a grain of salt. I said I don't need feedback on the script. Got it. I'll focus on the specific areas you mentioned for the video takes, which it did not view. I need to stress. So it goes on to authenticity, emotional resonance, clarity in terms of characters, subtext. It did the same thing for the second take. I asked it specifically, did you watch the takes? It says it wasn't able to watch the takes due to technical issues. And then I told it I don't need its bullshit feedback. So yeah, again, take it all with a grain of salt. ChatGPT, it is coming. It is going to get better. It might not be the best coach right now for your acting but it could be useful in determining which is the stronger take. My overall opinion of using ChatGPT as an acting coach is, if you don't actually have a trusted eye, an actual human being who you can rely on to give you good feedback on your self-tapes before you submit them, then sure, why not? I think it is pretty good at telling you which take is stronger. And maybe the fault lies within my prompts. That is a very real possibility. So I would love to know in the comments what you think about this. Did ChatGPT do a good job of critiquing my scenes? I, as you can tell, have very mixed feelings on it, especially knowing that it was willing to give me a critique on scenes that it hadn't even watched. So you have to take it with a very large grain of salt, whether or not to use ChatGPT. Final critique, yes, I think it is good for telling you which take is stronger, but it's not so great at telling you necessarily specifically why. Or maybe it was. I take that back. Telling me why, the why of why it was stronger was there, but it's not so great at giving you advice on what to do for improvement. That's what it is. It's not so great on giving you advice on what to do for improvement. So don't forget to leave me your comments in the comments below. I would really love to hear if you've ever tried using AI for your own acting coach and what your results were. And until next time, you stay your bold and beautiful self. Bye-bye.